Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne. I am the learner lawyer. Hello, the fox. So we have some things that are happening at the moment. Want to talk about some Katie Joy law suit updates. Want to talk about the latest stuff to do with the job that Barilaro got. That was that he stepped down from. Want to have a bit of a chin wag and a bit of a chatty, and to see how you all are. Um, I don't know if how anyone else has come out of after having COVID, but I am just so tired. If I don't have a nana nap in the afternoon, I cannot function. So I'm on my second. I've got my second wind at the moment, so I'm doing okay. So I hope you're all doing well. So let's have a look. So say hello if you're out there, so then I know that you're watching, because it gets a bit, sometimes you feel like you're talking to yourself, but we know the fox is here. And yeah, it's very, very interesting what's happening. So we will just, wasn't Bros going to replace Kylie Minogue in the Neighbours reading? I saw a really good one that said that Meg Lanning, that he was going to replace Meg Lanning in the Australian cricket team. That with her amazing record. Hello, LER, with Meg Lanning's amazing cricket record. That he was going to replace her because she wasn't good enough. It's really quite. I mean, it's definitely a big embarrassment for the government. In my opinion. So I'm just gonna open up these documents that I've got here for the 7M stuff. So we haven't actually officially got an order yet, from what I can see, which is really interesting. So what we've got though is a few other little interesting things here. So let's have a look. I don't think it's going to let me take it across to that screen, so it's going to be fun. All right, how am I going to open this? Oh, there we go. Right. Remember Bodyline? Yes, a cricket team. Well, so let's have a look. So we've been notified of a Zoom hearing. So we are obviously getting to a point. I mean, it says, according to let me just pull this up. I don't know. I just have lost all my ability to be able to work things at the moment. So let's have a look at the court file here. All right, the court file. Hello. There we go. Right. So this is the court file online. So this says case details. So there's a pre-trial hearing on the 27th of March, 2023 at 9 a.m. There is a jury trial on the 17th, 18th. So 17th of April at 1:30, the 18th at 9 and 1:30, the 19th at 9 and 1:30, and the 20th at 9. So there have been some actions on this. So it says that there's a scheduling order. There's a notice of filing of order. We've not seen that notice as yet, which is interesting. So let's see whether we've got it, that it's been filed. Now, it may not have just been made public yet. I mean, that's what it might be. Let's have a look. It's not letting me open anything at the moment. Right, so let's have a look, see how we go here. Right, here we go. So this is the notice of the pre-trial. This is the notice of the pre-trial. It's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be by video. So that is how you get into that. So what else have we got here? We've also got a notice of filing of an order. So as I said, the order hasn't, we don't actually have the actual order, but I'm interested. But there's been an order open with, come on, my computer's really slow, so I apologize. So that's the Zoom one. This is the scheduling order here. Hang on. Just don't mind me while my computer's just having a moment. So, oh, here we go. Open with, we're going to open this in Chrome. All right, so this is a scheduling order when it opens. So this says, pursuant, I'll make this big for you, and I'll make this a little bit bigger. All right, so this was filed on the 13th of July. So this is 7M versus 7M Films, James Derek, Miranda Derek, Robert Shin versus Catherine Mansky Paulson, aka Katie Joy without a crystal ball. So it says, okay. Pursuant to Rule 111 of Minnesota General Rules of Practice, the court is required to enter its scheduling order no sooner than the due date of the last civil cover sheet under Rule 104 and no later than 90 days after action is filed. Rule 114.04 requires the inclusion of alternate dispute resolution information based upon review of court file and the civil cover sheet submitted. The court follows the following order. Now, we don't know whether there has been a decision made, but because there are certain rules in place, the court, while waiting for whatever to happen, has to actually do this. So it says discovery and additional pleadings. The deadline for service of discovery requests and filing for all pleadings shall be the 5th of August 2022. Joinder of additional parties. The deadline for joining additional parties, whether by amendment or third-party practice, shall be September 2022. So even if the judge hasn't actually made a decision yet, the court's putting all this in place. So it's ready to go. Alternate dispute resolution. The alternate dispute resolution process to be used in this action shall be mediation. The party shall provide written designation of selected neutral to the court no later than November 25, 2023. The deadline, this is mistake. Deadline for completion of mediation shall be 25th of January 2023. This has to be 2022. Counsel and pro se parties shall immediately notify the court of any disposition of the above captioned action. So they've got to put in the people that they, their preferred mediator by November 23, and they have until January 25th. January 25th next year to have attempted mediation. So if this case doesn't resolve at mediation, they shall file a joint statement of the case on or before February 3rd to 13. Then non-dispositive motions shall be filed on 7 and later than February 27. Then they've got their pre-trial conference is set for March 27. And the trial date is a jury trial with an estimate trial day of 3 days. So they've done that. Amendment, the order may be amended only at a scheduling conference requested by either party within 10 days of notice of this order. So if they're not happy with this, they actually will have to apply to the court for an amendment to get it to get it the scheduled done. Continuances can be granted by a court order. Service of scheduling party. Each party is required to mail this order to any parties with whom they've failed to provide such notice. So we've got that one. So then we've got this one. Now I am making a big call here, and I am thinking that the motion's been denied, but I have no proof of that, to be honest with you, to be fair. It's just what my gut instinct is at the moment. How easy to bring? I think you'll find they can't bring it forward. I think you'll find it's quite set in stone because the courts are actually one of the things that I'm learning through my studies is that particularly with COVID has really slowed down the scheduling of the court. The courts would prefer mediation if you can mediate and solve it without going to court. So this says you are notified that an order was filed on this date. So, how in New South Wales? I don't know. I don't know the Fox. I really don't know. So there was a notice of filing of order, but whether that's the scheduling order, I'm not sure what order that is. Oh, notice of filing of order. So, but again, I know COVID has done a lot of has created a lot of issues. So that is the 7M stuff. So we've got dates and everything for 7M, which is interesting. And we know that tomorrow night we have the Chrisley versus Paulson motion hearing. At 1:30 p.m. I've got to work out what that is in Australian time because I'm tempted to stay up and do it and then just go live afterwards and give you my report. So that's what I'm thinking about. What do you reckon? Do you reckon I should do it? I don't know if I can stay up that late though. I don't know if I can stay that long. I don't know. I don't know. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? The state Katie Paulson is in Minnesota. They have some interesting rules. They don't have a slap. They don't have it's interesting. I've got to study about slap and all that sort of stuff. I think I've got my first assignment on the slap disputes. So let's have a look. So we've had some stuff happen today. We had another facing of the inquiry today. With this time it was the senior counsel for who was he? He was the general counsel for the New South Wales government. 4:50 in Minnesota at the moment. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to have a late night. So if it's 1:30 p.m. in Minnesota, it's going to be like, I don't know. So this is New South Wales inquiry into John Barilaro's US trade job. His top candidate was not formally offered. Now they're stating, the senior counsel is stating that, no, she was never really offered the formal role because there was the contract wasn't finalised and therefore it's not really a job. However, we know that we've seen the text messages where Gladys had congratulated her. So this is all a problem. And now there's contradiction again. And it would seem that somebody is not being truthful in the evidence that they've given. And the Senate now, or the parliamentary inquiry now, needs to work out who's telling porcupines and who's telling the truth. As we're dealing with politicians and public servants, I have no idea. 1 a.m. would be 4 p.m. Australia. Okay. So let's have a look what's happened today. So the General Counsel for the New South Wales Government Department that handed former Deputy Premier John Barilaro the job of Trade Commissioner to the Americas says it is not correct that a former bureaucrat was offered the job first. Department of Enterprise, Investment and Trade's Chris Carr gave evidence to a parliamentary inquiry which is investigating the appointment of Barilaro. So we know it's giving the background here. We know that. So we know that last week, Jenny West told the inquiry she'd been verbally offered the job in August last year and had negotiated her contract. It was then rescinded after a government decision to change the recruitment process. Mr. Carr today told the inquiry he wanted to correct the record. Ms. West's evidence that her contract terms were finalised on the 13th of August 2021. She also stated she was fully offered the job. Her words, Mr. Carr told the inquiry. That is not correct. He said that there was taxation issues in the contract that had never been finalised. Investment New South Wales was not in the position to issue any contract or offer any candidate prior to mid-December 2021, Mr. Carr said. Until the agency signs an agreement countersigned by an applicant, a person remains an applicant. Mr. Carr said while he provided policy advice on changing the recruitment process, he had a limited role. So he's saying that until the contracts are signed by both parties, technically the job's not offered. You're only really, and that, how do you feel about that? Because I would have thought that the signing of the contracts would have been just a formality, that you would still assume that you've got the job. So that's come from the ABC News. This one, so I've pulled up a few of them because this is an interesting one. A Barilaro inquiry missing key puzzle pieces. So the committee overseeing this process are saying that the New South Wales government is hindering the process. Penny Sharp says the government is entering obstruction territory with an upper house order for documents almost 2 weeks overdue. We are now getting to a point where it's beyond a joke. The inquiry into Mr. Barilaro's senior trade appointment and investment commissioner to them is considering its next witnesses. But at this point, we do not have the key pieces of the puzzle, and I would argue that this is deliberate from the government. Early on Tuesday, General Counsel Chris Carr told the inquiry had limited involvement. He was available to answer any questions Mr. Barilaro had about the contract, as he was for other senior trade and investment commission roles. He, however, was not involved in the hiring process. So former Mr. Carr also disputed evidence given by other witnesses before the hearing. Former public servant Jenny West previously told the inquiry she was offered the role. It was withdrawn. Ms. West had said that Amy Brown said it would be a present for somebody. Mr. Carr was asked in September to prepare advice on why hiring the senior and trade commissioners was a public service appointment and whether it could be a ministerial one. He said the request came from Miss Brown or her chief of staff, not from Barilaro. Miss Brown previously told the inquiry a request had come from the former Deputy Premier's office. Hello, plan to create. So an email showed Miss Brown emailing Mr. Barilaro's office information about why the roles were considered public service positions and unsuitable for ministry appointments in July 2021. Advice Mr. Carr said he did not provide. Labor MP Daniel Mulkey said it was important to determine who commissioned the advice about the appointment process. That allows us then to understand the motives of the people who were doing it. He said the hearing raised questions due to Miss Brown's and Mr. Carr's contradictory testimony and suggested Miss Brown could be called back. So you got Miss Brown saying it was Barilaro's office. You've got Barilaro's office saying it came from General Counsel. You've got the General Counsel saying it came from Miss Brown's office. We are going to need to hear from her about who we should believe. Mr. Carr also told the hearing, Miss West's testimony that she was Mr. Carr told the hearing that Miss West's testimony that she was fully offered the job was not correct. Miss West was well advanced in the process, but not at the end of it. He had a phone call with Miss West around the time she learnt the job had been withdrawn. She told the hearing she'd taken note of their conversation, and Mr. Carr had told her he was horrified by the situation. That's not a word I would have used, he told the hearing, although he did not take notes. So he denies that he said horrified, but he didn't take notes. I had a colleague who was upset, and it's not my usual practice when giving comfort and consolation to a colleague to take notes and submit them later. Mr. Carr said Miss West's note was a summary of their conversation and only her interpretation of it. Mr. Barilaro announced last month he would withdraw from the role. He says that he maintained proper processes, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So who do we believe? Who's telling the truth and who's telling porkies? Or are they all ankle deep in poo? All right. So then we've got The Guardian. This one says senior public service servants sought legal advice. So Chris Carr disputes parts of the evidence. So what we can work out and agree on is that the general counsel for the department was asked to give legal advice. As to who asked for it, that's in dispute. So he was only asked to provide advice on whether a senior trade position could be appointed by a minister via his boss, the investment chief executive, New South Wales chief executive, Amy Brown. On Tuesday, he told the parliamentary that it was Brown or a chief of staff who wanted the advice. And then we know that his evidence contradicts hers. In June, she told the inquiry the request came to Carr via the then Deputy Premier's office. He said that his involvement was limited. I don't know these people. I haven't met them, he said. We were in lockdown. I was copied in a couple of emails and attended one Teams call. Hello, Physics Down Under. So it will hear evidence later. So I haven't heard how it went. From a former staff member inside Barilaro's office, Joseph Brayford, in secret. Sorry, this one's not, secret. Another former staffer, Mark Connell, was expected to give evidence, but has pulled out. Ooh, is that suspicious? We can go on together. Just suspicious minds. Suspicious minds. So that's why we haven't had anything about this testimony, because it's been done in secret. I knew that a former staffer was giving evidence. So another advisor has pulled out. So here's what I don't understand, right? So it says on Tuesday, Carr disputed parts of evidence given by former senior public service and businesswoman Jenny West, insisting she had not been formally offered the job, despite the then Premier Gladys Berejiklian and the other senior ministers signing the brief note noting that West was the successful candidate for the job in August last year. Carr said the offer had not been formalised. If the Premier has signed off a brief, wouldn't a reasonable person think that they had the job? Noting US tax issues that delayed the appointment, Carr told the hearing that West had not been formally approved to take the role. My understanding is that Miss West was well advanced in the process, but not at the end of it. He also disputed some of the elements of a note of the conversation. Carr said the note had caused him some distress and was surprised she had taken notes of the conversation. Well, it sounds like Miss West is very experienced dealing with public servants and knows she has to write down her conversations. I was speaking with a colleague who was quite plainly in a situation where I felt the need to console her because she was on the receiving end of the vicissitudes of life. I felt the need to console her at a human level, to give her some degree of comfort. I would have been saying words that were of comfort on that call. I believe that is my nature. The inquiry previously heard that Barilaro took a submission to Cabinet to have the appointment made by ministers shortly before he resigned from Parliament. That submission was adopted, but then reversed by the incoming minister, Deputy Liberal Party leader Stuart Ayres. Carr told the hearing that he had only begun drafting detailed advice on the logistics of making an appointment via a ministerial decree after Cabinet had already decided to push ahead with the move. The lawyer, who took a number of questions on notice throughout the hearing, was asked whether his advice formed the basis of Barilaro's cabinet submission. On occasion, when providing legal advice, it is possible for that advice to include formulations that the minister might consider if they want to take it forward for cabinet consideration, he said in response to repeated questioning. Carr's evidence that he was asked to begin work on that advice in early September at the request of Brown or a chief of staff contradicted Brown's previous evidence that he was asked directly by the Barilaro staff. However, he remembered being asked about how appointments could be made on multiple occasions. I did find myself repeating myself to say these are public service appointments. They're not to be cabinet appointments, he said. So it's interesting that the general counsel, the lawyer that they had paid to talk about how this could be done, was stating that there had to be public service appointments and not ministerial appointments, and they still went ahead and made it a ministerial appointment. So I want to know what the legal ramifications for that is. Why have lawyers, or why take legal advice if you're not going to be bothered listening to the legal advice? Oh, it's about like having chief health officers to give health advice and then ignoring the health advice because, you know, there's an election coming and you want to win the election. Oh, yes, I know. That was a bit petty. But they took advice, but they didn't follow through the advice. So I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you think? What are your thoughts? You consulted with that, but never mind what actions you didn't take yet. Well, that's all right. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to end. But I'm Old Testament that way. Stuart Ayres, he was he environment? He was a minister in the Jiggling. I can't think of what he was. He's now got Brazzers' position. He's now got Brazzers' job. So, and he signed off on the Barilaro job. But so you've got Perrottet, who also signed off on Jenny West when he was the treasurer, saying that there was no suitable candidates and he hadn't signed anything. And yet there's proof that that's not true. We've got people lying all over the place, telling porcupines, and we are talking about Gladys, yeah. Wow. Well, the Ben Robert Smith trial's coming to an end. They've got, each side's got 4 days to do their closing submissions. 4 days each. 4 days each. That trial's been going over 100 days, and Gladys's boyfriend's been representing Ben Robert Smith, by the way. Moses, what's his name? He used to be in ICAC. Is New South Wales trying to beat the 1980s Queensland on corruption? Maybe they are. Well, you know who they need to call next. They need to call Gladys. See what Gladys thought. Did Gladys think the woman had the job? Because she was the premier at the time. Are there like 3 lawyers? Physics down under. Are there like 3 lawyers for dodgy LMP types in New South Wales? Well, according to ScoMo, we don't believe governments. I know, that's hilarious. We have some. I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole of ScoMo on his preaching tour. I just couldn't be bothered. Oh, I've just gone. I can't. So, talking about the sublime and the ridiculous, we've got to get on to Katie Joy again. Because she is, that's why I stay away from New South Wales except when buying chicken food. Because Llama Girl has been doing the Lord's work. Katie Joy has been staying off Instagram. I think there's going to be something happening there. She's discovered YouTube. No, you really don't need to go down the Katie Joy train. Oh, look, Physics Down Under. It's just it is just unbelievable. I mean, talk about exploitation. You know, she talks about 7M exploiting dancers. Well, it would seem, allegedly, that Katie Joy is exploiting a family. You know, I can't be strong Physics Down Under. I can't. It's like giving coke to a 3-year-old. Oh, but see, Llama Girl's done all the hard work for us, so I don't have to worry about it. She's done all the hard work. Oh. Because there was a collaboration with other people that were following the case, and of course, it's come out that she doesn't like sharing. She won't share any stuff with her, and you're not allowed to watch anyone else other than her. I mean, I love the fact that she says that she got struck for copyright, but I think she got taken down because she was she got struck for copyright and deleted it. So I think we'll start with this one because this one's funny, and nothing like a good pile on. Well, that's right. Well, and I apologize. I'm just having a look at this, and you can see right down at the top. I apologize. You can't undo this. You can't unsee this, I'm afraid. So, all right. So this is Katie Joy Morrison thinks the devil lost the election. I'm going to become satanic. Well, the devil lost the election. Is he the devil? You'll need more than bleach Physics Down Under.
Only because I just realized something. Okay. Sorry. My husband was watching something, so the people that said that they couldn't hear me.
So she's just realized, everyone, she's given a showing to everybody. So what she's saying is that her last video was muted for 70% of the video. And she's blaming her husband because he was watching something. But it might have been the foulness out of her mouth, in my opinion.
Sorry. My husband was watching something. So the people that said that they couldn't hear me, the video was copyrighted. Because I think my husband was watching something that was picking up the audio. And so my video was muted. So that whole live that I did, or the whole live I did just now, the reason why people couldn't hear me is because my husband was watching something on TV.
Which is really interesting because Llama Girl got it and none of that happens. None of that is that. Look at the look on the face. She's looking away. She's looking away. She can't look in the camera.
And it issues. That's why.
So it was the husband. It's a bit like the butler, eh? Always the butler. Well, it's always the toad. It's his fault, her husband's fault. It's got nothing to do with the fact that she's called this. She's well, she didn't even say alleged. She's referred to the woman as being a murderer. She didn't even say allegedly. I mean, the guy's still in a coma. He does have no brain function. I believe he's on life support. Oh, physics down under you from Minnesota. Oh no. You're not one of her neighbors, are you? You're a city boy.
I apologize, but I had to delete the whole live because of that. Not because I wanted to, but I don't know what it was he was watching that was copyrighted. I don't know if he was listening to music or something. I've never had that happen before, ever. I don't know if Facebook is weird like that.
So she had to delete the whole live. Yeah, right.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, hi Trisha. I was going on to some of the pages of, it said that I was muted in like 72 countries.
Oh, sorry, she was muted in 72 countries. Muted in 72 countries. Well, the topic that she's talking about in a lot of countries, where she's talking about somebody on life support and talking about KJ's group, the way she latches onto tragedy for the money only. Hello, Terry C. Yes, but for some people, what she's talking about is sacred,
Partially muted. I don't know when that was, but it said there was a partial match. So I think that's why some people are having a hard time hearing me.
So 72 countries. Hello, just Doom, Dom. You'll have to go back to start to find out all the tea with the 7M stuff, Doom. I'm just filling time now. So 72 countries she got banned in, so she deleted the live because 72 countries don't want to. What was the deal with all the countries that didn't use it? I know physics down under. Only 72.
I know. Some people literally in the live said they could not hear me. So I don't know if it was something he was listening to on his phone, because obviously there's no audio here now. He just went upstairs.
She banished him. She's obviously banished him back to the she's banished him upstairs and told him, don't come down now.
Hello from Yuma. Oh, I heard that Vaughn is the talk of the town in Yuma. You can hear me. Yeah, that's why it was muted.
No, that's done. Yeah, so 72 countries banned her. Who pays the more? I don't know who pays the mortgage. Oh, she did a whole live about how Marvin's had his wife.
So Trisha,
Dre sign a deed where she didn't have ownership of the house or something, and like she couldn't work that out. All right, so here's the next one.
So I was just going to some of the pages to see like what was going on and what was like what other pages were saying. Like there's some smaller pages that have been doing really good work sharing videos. Ultimate Deception Unmasked has been posting like all of her supporter lives. If you want to see the supporter lives, if you are a supporter, they've posted a bunch of them there. There's like another page like CMT something or CMC something that's been posting quite a bit of the lives, which I think is helpful. Oh, your heartbeat speed. So Trisha, you're going to continue again. Okay. Let's see.
There's one downside that she's discovered with Facebook is that she can't block people, so she can't ban them on that. She has to block them all. Maybe this is gonna be the truce for Russia and Ukraine. Maybe.
Trisha Miranda is a choreographer. She was actually just on a show on Lifetime. It wasn't on the regular networks. She was just a judge on a father-daughter dance show, or father-kid dance show. She's super well known in the dance world. So she happens to be from Yuma, Arizona, and she reached out to me about this. So she's a Latina. CBS, okay. She was just on a show on CBS, sorry. It was like a father and kid dance show. Super, super cute. Super good energy. Yeah, well, one of the pages actually shared a video which was really weird, and I was just like, well, I just want to talk about this because a lot of my followers actually follow me because I cover.
Oh, she's going to talk about the Duggars now. We're going to get the history of the Duggars. Hope you're doing better. And yeah, uni's doing good, Vanandra. I have to say, I did miss out. I didn't pass one subject. I've got to do that again. I can do that at the end of the year without messing up my course completion. And when I say that I missed out by 2 marks. So I figured they gave me a couple of options. I thought I might as well do it again because I know what I'm doing now. And I sat down with a student course advisor, and I've essentially got the next 2.5 years planned out. And a couple of those I need to apply to do some placement. I want to work in the law clinic that the uni runs, and also at a look, I could actually ask for them to remark my exam, but the risk of that is that you could actually end up with a lower mark if it's marked by somebody else. And I just figure I'll take the 2 marks and so it's going to be over the Christmas New Year break is when it's going to be done, and I'll only be doing 2 subjects. So I've done it so that I'm actually studying all year. So it'll be a block of 3, and a block of 2, a block of 3, block of 3, block of 2, and that will get me through. So I'm just going to be studying all year round now. So and I've still got space, and there is still room that if I have to do any extras, I can do that. So I've got sports law. I'm doing cyber law, cyber law. So exciting stuff. And business law.
I cover the cult that they're part of, the Institute in Basic Life Principles, which is a fundamentalist Baptist sort of para-religious organization that's kind of like a cult. And the Duggars have been a part of it for, 30 years.
Possibly, but vaccination, I don't believe there's vaccination requirements anymore, physics down under. So anyway, we're not going to. She talks about Caleb Williams because she interviewed Caleb Williams, and he was convicted of getting a 16-year-old pregnant, which is and so he apparently he now is a registered offender. So here we go. I've skipped a few. She says that if they want a crash course in the Duggars, they can go to her channel. because, you know, she's got everything that you need to know.
Does that make sense for everyone? I don't know.
What's with the hat?
Okay, so if you want to follow, like, if you want to crash course in the Duggars, you can check out my channel. It's funny.
Apparently her channel's funny. I don't think so.
Funny.
That's not
It's funny. You can check out my channel. It's funny.
Oh, she's got a drinking hat on, says Vidandra. I know, I'm laughing. Visits down under, I know. Look at her face.
You can check out my channel. It's funny. Anecdote for you. Bond's stepmother.
It's a funny antidote. What? Now she calls the guy Von. Now his real name's Marvin. Most people will refer to him as Marvin. But they did have like pray for Von and everything as a term. But she calls him Von and only ever refers to him as Von because that's the same name as her son. So I'm thinking, what would you do if you were her son and you're listening to all these things, hearing your name mentioned? Does Katie know how to finish building my...
Was commenting on my channel, and she's like, "Girl, you got those people from Little People Big World. You've got ladies from Sister Wives. You got that family that has a million kids." She was like, "I can get down with this content." And I was like, "Hey, stay with me." She said she was watching some of my other content. You never know what to find on that channel.
You'll never know what you'll find on my channel. Oh, dear me. Oh, boy. Oh. Gee, I think I'm funny.
Hello, Cecilia. So that is actually true. So this is actually true. But you said the girl was his girlfriend and they were supposed to be getting married, didn't you? Yes, because that's what the prosecutors told the judge. In chambers, the prosecutors said the girl was his girlfriend and the girl and him were supposed to get married because they were in a courtship. Because
now she's gone back to Caleb. Like, she's just jumping around. So someone's questioning now the Caleb Williams stuff again because, you know, we just can't say two sentences to say, yes, I cover the Duggars. Go check out my channel if you're interested. Or I interviewed Caleb Williams. I know that he has a checkered history. I know that he's a registered offender. However, I was interviewing him purely for his information on the Duggars and the fact that he was a witness to the court case. That's all she needed to say.
They were in a cult where underage marriages happen all the time. And it's gross and it's wrong and it's horrible. And I would never justify that. But if a prosecutor says in court, in chambers, it was his girlfriend and they were supposed to get married, does it make it any less of a crime? No. But that was the situation. It was a wrong situation that I'll never defend because it's a gross cult that has disgusting rules that...
However, you'll use them to make money. Yep, that's okay.
This kind of stuff happens and half the reason why I exposed the help. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, I tell you. Gross should never be a valid. Okay. Oh yes, and apparently she's Team Christine. Yes, gross shouldn't be. Gross shouldn't be a reason.
You got Mary Brown all frazzled.
I'd like to know why too.
She doesn't. Mary Brown does not like me. That's okay though, you guys. We are Team Christine Brown over here. We love Christine Brown. We're Team Leave Cody in his perm. So yeah. Anyone that knows me knows that I would not defend a sexual abuser.
I need to make money off him. It's basically like saying I don't like it. Why? Because yes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't agree with what Caleb did, and I don't agree with who he, like, the crimes he made, but that's what actually was in the court records. And I was literally telling people what was in the court records. Yep. It's unfortunate that anyone was a victim, but that's again why I did not speak to Caleb about the crime he committed, because the victim did not need to be re-victimized by being talked about on my channel, and I did not want to traumatize her by justifying or...
Hang on a minute. She's talking about how she didn't want to re-victimize the victim, and yet she does it to the Duggar girls all the time. When did worrying about victims become a thing?
Allowing him to defend himself, period. I didn't want him to come up with some sort of excuse or justification for what happened. And so the rule was, you come on my channel, we're not talking about her, I'm not asking about her, because I don't want to re-victimize her. And I don't want to put her in a position where she could potentially feel like her abuser is lying about the situation. But people got mad at me that I didn't ream them out for it. But if I reamed them out for it, then I'm drawing attention to her as the victim, and I didn't want to do that. Anyways, that was one.
That's right. She hasn't been on live on Facebook since she was caught out saying a source wanted info to be put out only on her channel. That's right. That was debunked. Yes, it should. For at least Physics Down Under says, why shouldn't someone expect an abuser to lie about a situation? I know Physics Down Under.
I want to be clear tonight. Everyone can have an opinion about me, and some people don't like the way that I report, and that's totally fine. Or blog, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yes, I think Llama Girl's got that here. I think she's got that. I know you're bringing too much. I mean, you can't. All right, let's have a look. Here it is. This is Molly Go Lightly who's covering the case. Now, this is really interesting. So let's have a listen to this. Thank you, Llama Girl, doing the Lord's work. Like I said, doing the Lord's work. So watch. This is where it's going to be revealed that the person that gave the stuff to Katie Joy never said it was for her exclusively. And she's not been live since this.
So to look back and think that I drank the Kool-Aid for as long as I did,
I do have a question.
Astonishes me. I'm open for questions.
Okay, so I'm actually reading it from the chat. So is this the woman who gave KJ the information and said it was only for KJ and you didn't want it on other channels? So when you gave her that information, was it to stay strictly on her channel and you wanted people directed to her channel? Or was this...
No, that's not at all the understanding. The understanding that I had with her at that point was that it was to remain anonymous. And that was the only stipulation that I had with her when I released that information.
AJ, you're something else.
I have something to say to that as well. But I can hear back. Okay,
What's
so
that for you?
I have something to say to that. When I heard her say that, I was actually watching you, Molly, and you were reading, I guess, like KJ had messaged you and said, hey, I have this audio, but direct your people to my channel because the source only wants it played on my channel. The same exact thing happened to me with Katie. We were both covering the story, and I said I had talked to a source directly connected to the story, and the source had told me that they wanted to get their voice back, and I said, well, I have my channel if you want to use it. And he was like, yeah, we can figure something out. And literally, the person that I was talking to just quit responding to me. Out of nowhere, just quit responding to me. Next thing I know, Katie's talking to the source. She has all this audio, this information from the story. And then she says, I spoke to the source who gave me all this audio from the story. She played it on her channel. And that's what she says. She says, this source doesn't want this played anywhere else, only on my channel. And then someone else reached out to the person and said, is this what you said? This is a huge thing that's happened in your life. And you want people to cover this. So why are you only saying for it to be played on?
So there you go. She got busted big time.
Platform, to me, it seems like you are using this as an opportunity to gain a following. Because she literally told Molly, direct your people to here to listen to it. If I was the person involved in this, I would say, no, they don't have to just come to your channel. Just let any channel play it. Any channel that will pick this up, please let them play this. It's not about this, the one person this is about is Vaughn. It's not about Katie. It's not about her having the exclusive. It's not about this being her story. It is about Vaughn. It's absolutely any audio that is out there. Please let as many people play it as possible to get the word out.
Most people just want to be anonymous, and they just,
right.
Here it is.
Exactly.
I just want to be anonymous. Just keep my name out of it. There it is.
Do you know
exactly.
what's interesting is this week, people that I found very tiny channels, and I would go in and I would say, hi, I go, thank you so much for talking about it. And they only have 1,400 subs and 70 people watching, and I'm like, thank you so much. And they're like, oh my God, Molly Golightly, I was so afraid. They told me you're gonna strike me. And
Good night, the fox. Sleep well.
I said, I'm not gonna strike you. No, I want people to talk about this. I also told the young lady today, Amber was on the phone. Amber, I told the channel that we're going on tomorrow, take whatever clips you want. And people are using clips, and it came up in my copyright, and there's all these channels that are using stuff. Take it, use it.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Absolutely. I'm not here to. This isn't a pissing match with me and Justin. Right. This is not this, but I have to say, you want to know something, Katie? You gotta cut it out.
So for those of you that Katie had Molly on her channel, and then there's been a falling out.
That's been ruined a long time ago. But I'm not your competition. I'm not your competition. I'm not.
Really quickly, I just got a message from the other individual that contributed the rest of the audio recordings, that she only wanted her name not mentioned. Not that it was to be the only platform that the audios were used on.
That's what I figured.
Wow. It's just time and time again with that particular channel, it seems. We wanted to give her a chance because people say something about everyone. You know what I mean? Because they have a bad intention, but just.
So check this out, you guys. I mean, I'm not trying to be.
Now there's some cattiness coming. Videndra, I've actually remembered to record it for next week. I've got next week's ready to go. I've already sat down and done it. Sometimes, but I'm actually writing out notes at the moment for unis. So I'm not journaling at the moment, but yes, but I have actually recorded next week's already. Because, yeah, sometimes I forget to record.
A petty, a petty weirdo. But for someone who's lying and saying that I have this extensive criminal background of embezzling money from the FBI. Katie, I've never been in the FBI. I was like, this is my mugshot. Okay? They dropped it. I'm not a criminal. But this is your mugshot from your DUI, isn't it?
Oh my God.
How does that feel? How does that feel? Okay? All right. That's it. Now we're finished. You don't
Really
like
quickly,
you don't like
I just got a clarification email from her. I'm seeing.
Oh yes, Vedanta, I do have pens in the background. They're my black and my red and my blue pen, but they're normal pens. But yes, but yes, there is a video coming. It is what is it? Yeah, I think it is a fake mug shot. It is. Oh, it's a good one. I'll show you. I'll give you a preview. I'll give you a quick look. It is Toy Story. Whoops. I've got to turn off the fake background. Ooh. It is a fake mugshot. Hold on, let me just settings, virtual background. We're going to turn it off. There we go. Look. There we go. There you go. there's your hint. Yeah, it is. All right, so let's go back to this quickly, and then yeah.
Messages pop up in the top of my cell phone. She was afraid of it getting leaked too far to the outside because of recognition, I guess, of her voice, which I'm sure my voice is going to be recognized. Hi, Dre. I know you're watching, so you know who it is now. Give me a text tomorrow if you want to confront me. But
so anyway, then there is. So Katie Joy did this whole post about the fact that this stray woman was posting in the hospital while her husband is in hospital, and of course we all know that. So this was her criticizing.
You gotta cut it out.
Oops. So who the hell takes a selfie at the bedside of their husband on life support? This picture is haunting me because of her signature red rose signature on. Who dresses up like that for the hospital? All these photos give me chills. Like she got her man where he could never leave. He needs justice. He needs the police to do something. And then, of course, here are pictures of KJ in the hospital with her son. There's her son in the hospital bed. So people pointing out the hypocrisy. There's a picture there of her foot. My kid is in hospital. So she says, there's a chat here, and she says, I can't stay. My kid is in the hospital. So, yeah. So that is, she's doing exactly what she's been called over. Then final one from here.
Katie, as contacted. Well, I'm getting some bad news.
What?
Apparently another channel that had us on, I think you all know Katie, has contacted this friend, and allegedly it says, so I see that witch Katie just posted about speaking to the friend. Wow. Please tell me that that's not the same one you were talking about. Wow. 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 You know what? Not a lot of things shock me, but your behavior.
Let's just
I
wait.
cannot. You want to overshadow. You just want drama. You don't care about this young man. You really don't. Shame on you. Shame on you. Yeah, it's on her page. Oh, that's just great. That's just great. Okay. So this is a pissing match. It's a personal pissing match. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. You're the one that's got to look at yourself in the mirror. Wow.
Let's just see if we can get a hold of him. But from now on, we're not going to talk about
She's
who we're going to have on.
very toxic, poisonous person.
Apparently. My God.
Wow. Don't announce anything next time, right? I know. Yep, here you go.
So they were going to have somebody on the channel, and Katie's got to them first.
Wow. Wow. Okay, you want to know something? How about we check in and see how Miss Letitia's doing? That's what I'd like to do.
So, well, I'm getting the impression that MGL or Molly Gola will actually fight her. So, what the issue with KJ? Okay, so here we go.
I didn't know you called last night. Again, I thank you.
But
who was the clown that was talking against you? I didn't know you called last night. Again, I thank you so much for the work and dedication that you have for Marvin Jr. I will leave my Cash App with you, but it's not about the money. I used everything I had in my checking and 2 savings. God bless you. I have photos with Marvin Jr. For HIPAA restrictions, I don't want that evil wife to sue me because of the HIPAA policy. Winners 1970. Love you. Now, I had asked her for her PayPal, so that's mine. Am I sure it's her? I would assume so. And I wrote back and I said, oh, yeah, that's the crystal ball. She's a sick bitch. And I said, Letitia made it minutes ago. She is with her husband and son. They are safe. And then she says, yeah, I know. I stopped talking to Crystal Ball. She talked to my husband and I. And I said, she's not going to sue you, meaning Dre. I said, she's not going to sue you. Can anyone tell me what the issue is with Crystal Ball? Really what it is childish, greedy, manipulative, insecure, catty, douche.
I think she summed it up, right?
Messed up. I mean, I can go on and on. She is, she's basically trying to take ownership. She doesn't want me and Justin working on this at all. She wants everyone to watch her. So she's trying to push us out. There was a very interesting video that was put out, and I very much enjoyed it. It was called, it's the woman that...
I don't know who. It was very on point, wasn't it? Oh, and here we go.
This Katie chick, it's it's not normal. I've dealt with competitive people on YouTube, but I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. Hey, Alex, how are you?
It's just not worth speaking about, Marissa.
Yes, she's not even worth mentioning. Her behavior with Marvon's case has revolted me to the point where I cannot look at her face or hear her voice. I just can't believe what she has done. Anything that we find out, she jumps and tries to get to it first. She wants basically all the credit. Fine. You want the credit? Fine. You got it. If this is, well, this is the thing. That's what we're talking about. Like, why would you not want more help? We were speaking with LB last night, and
I left her.
Oh, so did I.
Uh-oh.
So did I. Absolutely. She's a blessing. I really like what she has to offer. So what we want and what separates us from this Katie crystal ball is that we want other people to talk about this. We appreciate the information that we're getting. This isn't some sort of like a scavenger hunt. I think that she wants the attention to just be on herself. And a lot of the things that she says are very, very sticky. She calls Andrea basically a murderer. You can't do that.
No.
And the very night that I made that video called I Can't Confirm.
Yes, I saw that she called her that.
Video called I Can't Confirm was something was keeping me awake and something was bothering me, and I realized deep down that it was her. And I was like, dude, I can't go along with a girl like that is really gonna kind of make drama and speculation over the facts, the truth, and really being in it because she cares. I think it's interesting that people that have talked to her don't want to talk to her again. It is about Marvon, and there's a clip of her where she completely forgets his last name. And the very night that I made that video called I Can't Confirm was something was keeping me awake and something was bothering me, and I realized it is about Marvon. And the very night that I made that video called I Can't Confirm.
Anyway, so that is so now she's saying that Andrea has not been charged with any crimes at this time. So she's now saying there's, as far as I know, that there is no crime at this point in time. Now, but she's saying that there's an active investigation for child neglect with a source with knowledge of the situation confirmed. All parties have been contacted. How does she know? They're told that they have rights, but one of the biggest components of two situations that anything that Dre has written or said can be used in court. She went silent the same day the investigation was open. Let me tell you, KJ, anything that you write, anything that you write can be used against you. And without a crystal balls, reckons that maybe that she's been sent something, because she's gone from saying that Dre poisoned and murdered Marvin to her reporting now that she's just reporting things. she's not saying it. So I don't know. So that's what's been happening in the crystal ball world while life has been going on. So we are going to probably leave it there. So thank you for joining me. Make sure if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, make sure that you do that. I am going to upload. I'll be uploading my Play With Me for next week, later in the week. Yeah, it's been interesting. Sometimes I sit down and I do them, and then I realize I haven't actually recorded. But look how thick. This is a new one. Look at that. Oh, there's something satisfying though with all the chunkiness. Make sure that you hit like and subscribe. You know, and yeah, we'll keep you updated with everything that's going on. And as I said, I'm hoping I might stay up and watch the Chrisley case. I'm just interested. I'm going to do it for research purposes because I'm studying defamation and I'd like to see how I've seen how it's been run in Australia. I'd like to see how it's run in the US. So I may as well, for research purposes, right? Research purposes. Oh dear. Anyway, thank you again, once again, and I will catch you again later. I don't know when I'll be back live. I don't know. I'll just pop up every now and then. All right. Until next time. Bye for now.